Yeah, I really don't have a whole lot of thoughts for it, to be honest with you. I think you know me well enough that I've never worried about what they've said, positive or negative, outside of the rules. And, I think we know and we certainly understand at Iowa State that greatness is not overcoming others. Greatness is the ability to overcome yourself. And so we've really worried about Iowa State. To be honest with you, we really have never worried about where we are at the beginning, but we've certainly worry about where we are at the end of the season.
What has to happen for Iowa State to exceed the sixth place prediction?
Yeah, again, I don't, whatever that expectation is, I don't know. I think for us to reach our full potential, this team development will have to continue to occur at a really high rate. Our senior class is going to have to play the best football of their career. And we're going to have to play great team football. I think those are things that really no different than what it's been the last 6 years, to be honest with you. We're really fortunate. We've got a great senior class, 18 great seniors. Some guys in that class that have been huge impacts in Iowa State football for a long time. Some really talented young guys that I think got opportunities to have success the last couple of years, and they're going to have to grow up and take a bigger role. And then some new guys that are going to be fighting for the opportunity to get on the field. And if they do, obviously they're going to have to be ready to help our football team be successful and play with the consistency that we think it's such a unique situation. We've had some guys injured going into that game. Obviously Brees was in a situation where it wasn't in his best interest to play in the game, and I think we knew we still had a chance to go compete and win the football game, but we also had an opportunity to get some guys some critical reps and opportunities from a practice standpoint and equally from a playing standpoint. And, I think there's some great videotape in that game that we took with us to just understand where those guys were in their development process, and also where do they need to go for the next season so they could be able to pick up and be ready to play at a high level for us. So, yeah, I thought it was a huge game. Huge opportunity, and a lot of guys took a huge opportunity and huge steps forward in that football game. I think he gave them confidence going into the offseason and also a roadmap of here's what you need to do to be better. Some of it will be incremental.
From that, I guess you kind of come down here and you always give us a guy or two. Like, is there a guy who maybe you watched play in that game that you're like, wow, he's better than I thought because he had been buried on the scout team or whatever?
Well, I think the starting game that I would use is Tyler Miller. Tyler Miller is a year ago was a redshirt freshman, and it's a young pup, and got some experience last season. I think we thought early last and fall camp that this guy was going to have an opportunity to be a big-time player in our football program. Then we kind of got into a rhythm of what that offensive line was by the mid-season point when Huffer went out to left tackle and played. And then when we got the opportunity to get Tyler prepped and ready for the bowl game and then watch him play in that game, boy, you were really impressed with what you saw, and really I think what all of us coaches saw in with Tyler. So I think Tyler's a young man, especially from that game, that you're really excited about.
Following up to that, how much, looking back, like the Rinsberg injury, I don't know about hurt is the right word, but like what will that be to have him for healthy for a year?
Yeah, I think last year in the offensive line, and I was very optimistic about that group going into the season, and I still am really proud of how those guys scrapped and played as the season went. But the tackle spot, to have two starting tackles really by the first game or the end of the first game be really limited to not being able to play, that was tough. And especially the tackle spot where you had a young pup in Tyler that really wasn't ready quite yet. And then you had to find some answers. You lost Sean Foster for the season pretty much. And obviously you lose Jake for the season. And those were tough pills to swallow. And our answer was to put our best 5 guys on the field. And Derek Schweiger moved from the inside to the outside and really played his tail off for us. Was an all-conference player and gritty, tough, but not your typical tackle. And then a guy in Jared Huffer who we thought was and really is one of the most talented offensive linemen we've coached. Just to get him on the field, we put him at left tackle, and his run blocking and some things he did was fantastic throughout the season. But again, not a true tackle. But we felt like those guys gave us the best opportunity to be successful and really did do some great things in the running game for us. But to be able to have tackles back, and now not only have tackles, you get Jake back at full strength, which is huge. You get a guy like Tyler Miller, who we think is uber talented at the tackle position. Then you bring in a guy like James Neal, who we're excited about. Grant Schreiber, probably one of the guys that I would say made the greatest growth in our football program in the course of the last 9 months. Man, now you can not only got competition, you have depth at the tackle spot. So, it's kind of how our sport works. Is sometimes you're going to have some injuries, and you're going to have to fill it in a unique way, and we had to do that a little bit at the offensive tackle position a year ago.
Is it so? Like nationally, people will look at you guys and go, "Oh, they lost 20 starters or whatever it is." When the team shows up for fall camp, and I guess I gotta go back to the bowl game too. Are you at a spot now in the program where you look at it like from a development standpoint, where it's more of a reload type thing than like a, oh man, we've got to replace where these guys are lined up physically in the program?
Boy, I would sure hope so. I think when you look at our team and it's like, boy, have we been here before? Well, we lost. You lost Montgomery. You lose Lazard. You lose Butler, and next thing you know, everybody says, geez, how's Iowa State going to recover? If you lose Lanning, how are they going to recover? And we recovered once. And what great programs have, and I think what's happened in our society and in college football is nobody stays and builds a program anymore. And you hope to have great players, and you hope those players raise the standard of the program and leave it in a better place. And I would say that the group that just left has done that. And then you look at our team and you say, well, man, you got Anthony Johnson. Well, he's been a pillar of the success of this program, an all-conference player. Ryan Vance has started for 4 years here. He's been a pillar of our success. Man, Will McDonald might be the best defensive lineman that's ever played at Iowa State. Man, Trevor Downing's maybe the best offensive lineman that's ever played at Iowa State and the first team all-conference player. Man, you got Xavier Hutchinson that's led the conference in receiving. And so, yes.
So you're going to win the nation championship.
So you look at it and you say, well, do you have pillars to build around? Is this a total rebuild? No. It's one of those things that it's a football program, and it's a program that's continuing to build and evolve, and that's what I'm really proud of is, we lost some really good players, and we're proud of those players, and they left it in a better place, and they made the guys, and now it's their turn to lead the program, ready to take the reins and lead our football program.
Was there a game, a practice, a team meeting, a one-on-one between you and a player where you were assured that we've turned this thing around? Or not turn it around, it was really never there, that we've turned the program. This is going to be a good program.
Yeah, I think when I look back at that, Randy, and that's a really good question. I still, for me, go back to the 2017 season, and the guys like Lanning and Lazard, J.D. Wagner, those kind of guys drawing a line in the sand and say enough's enough of, man, we have the ability to have success here. The 16 team, we're right there, right? And man, so many of those games that first season, we were there to have opportunity to win, and we didn't win the game. We can do this, and we can have success. And I think once we built belief that success could happen, and then we had guys take ownership in terms of what it takes to win and have success. I think I look back at that in Memphis in that locker room after that game, and I would still point back to that's when this program really turned, and we really had a chance to build on something now that was not just a hype or a talk. It was now a visual proof of we can win and have success here at Iowa State.
You guys had some players nicked up at the end of spring. Just kind of curious, like timetable on like a Jared Russ or like Brady Peterson, Cartavius, I think had something. How's that looking?
Yeah.
Sure.
We're really fortunate. Our team came back on the 4th of July after their break. Really, everybody full go. We won't go in fall camp with anybody that's limited or out. So I think that part's really exciting for all of us. Our kids have had a great off season. For the most part, I'd say we're about 98% healthy through the month of June, and back to 100% right after the 4th of July break. So I think we're all very confident, at least at this point right now, that we'll be 100% health and really raring and ready to go for fall camp.
What are you hearing from Coach Andrews? Obviously, he's around him more than you are this time of year, but any certain positions that he's really raving about, or guys, or?
Yeah, and I think the nice thing for me is I don't have a lot of hobbies, so I'm around a lot too. And the thing is about this group is just they've created great momentum for themselves. There's a spirit on this team that's different, and you know, I think a lot of that is, you know, you've got a very special senior class, and you've got so much youth that's fighting for opportunity and playing time that it's kind of created some really positive momentum at every stage. You know, they were able to do that through winter conditioning. Man, I thought it was a powerful winter for this group. Man, they did it in spring practice. Couldn't wait to get to spring practice. Love spring practice. Man, created great momentum through spring practice, and really have done the same thing through the summer. So I think more a holistic approach with this group. You can feel them a way that's been very special and really fun to be around. Myself, I think Coach Andrews, even our coaching staff would echo that.
Matt, you guys kind of mentioned, you know, some of the players that showed flashes late, including that bowl game. I think of Jalen, you know, around some of those areas. What have you liked about his progression, not only, you know, skill-wise and on the field, but really kind of transforming his body this year as well?
You know, Jalen is, you know, when I think of Jalen, I think so similar to Xavier coming into our program. You know, X, and I think that I've talked about X from day one, like the first winter workout, the first conditioning, the first practice. How he goes about his work ethic is what makes X really special. Well, Jalen, I can still go back to last January when he came into our program for the first day, and I went and watched him work conditioning, and he lines up right next to Xavier Hutchinson, the best player, and man, he wants to be competing with him every day. And Jalen's got that same mentality. He's got this elite trait, competitive excellence, and he wants to be the best. And honestly, that's what's made Jalen. That's why Jalen had a really special season last year. That's why I think Jalen's got the ability to be one of the great players of all time at Iowa State. He's just got competitive excellence in everything he does, and I give a lot of credit to Xavier because I think those two, the work ethic, the commitment that they make day in and day out. I've said this about great players we've had in our program that are transformational. If you come to practice on Tuesday and Wednesday, and Randy always says, well, let us come to practice on Tuesday and Wednesday, but if you did come to that and you watch them play, they're the same guy on Saturday. And I think it takes a special guy to do that, right, to be successful. And then, man, do you take a breath? Do you take Tuesday practice off? Well, X has never done that, and Jalen's never done that, and that's what makes those two really, really special. And I think Jalen's been fortunate to have a great example in Xavier on what work ethic looks like. But you're right, Jalen had a really great year. I thought he had a great year all year last year to be the punt returner, to show glimpses of elite traits there. Made some big plays in that bowl game. I think he's got a chance to be a really special player for us.
What kind of offseason has Hunter had?
Yeah, I would just say he's taken all the right steps that you would want Hunter to make to prepare himself for the football season. You know, Hunter is one of those guys, again, the word that comes up for me is competitive excellence. He wants to be the best, and he's going to attack it, whether it's in the weight room, whether it's a winter conditioning race, whether it's how far can you throw the football, whether it's, man, we got to go play basketball, or he's going out and playing golf. He wants to beat you at everything he does, and that's something that is really special about Hunter. And you know what I really appreciate about Hunter is he has diligently worked at what are the challenges coming. You know, you can work at all these things. We'll find out as the season goes, is he ready for it? But you know, to me, what he's needed to do to prepare both mentally and physically, he's done an unbelievable job. I'm really proud of him.
What's the story on Reader?
Yeah, you know, Colby's he's a really special young man. You know, a guy that obviously has played a lot of football, which I still think that matters in our sport, where you play and you've been in competitive situations, you had to lead a team, played a very similar defense to what we played with at Delaware. And I think has come in with also the understanding and work ethic. When you got a brother that's played in the National Football League, that's had elite success with the Rams and won a Super Bowl, you get it. And you know, I think he's brought that mentality, that work ethic, the physicality, and really that veteranness that we were really hoping to have. And then you couple him with Ryan Vance and Gary Hahn, who's also been a starter. Now you got three guys that are really almost three starters back at the linebacker position, and really fired up about that. So Colby's been a great fit. He really had a great spring for us, and we think he's got a chance to have a really special year.
Feels like you mentioned Russ earlier, it just feels like him and like Lee, you've got these guys who have just played a ton, but are they the kind of the glue to this, like this team reaching? People talk about Will and Hutchinson, but it's those guys really that are the key to this.
Yeah, I think you're hitting the nail on the head. You know, I mean, you and I can go forever, I think, on defensive linemen, right? And you talk about Isaiah Lee. And, I mean, we can think back to 2 years ago on this field, and the guy that led our team in tackles in the Big 12 championship game was Isaiah Lee. Boy, you turn on that video against Clemson, and the guy that's in the backfield and sacks and tackles for a loss is Isaiah Lee. You know, Isaiah, if you really look from probably the fourth game on last season, you might have said Isaiah played as good as anybody on that defensive line at times last year for us. And so, you know, a guy that plays a very thankless position, but is the key to our success. Jared Russ, a first-team all-conference guy. I mean, what we ask Jared Russ to do, you don't ask a lot of people to do. You have to have courage, you got to have toughness, and you got to be willing and relentless. And, you know, man, that guy's ISO and linebackers smacking back on defensive linemen. But he's also nifty and athletic enough to be the check down on some pass games and catch the ball and make big plays in critical moments. Yeah, those are the guys that made Iowa State football, in my opinion, really special. That, yeah, we've had some really good players, but it's the glue that the guys that have been the ones, the twos that have said, hey, I have a role, and I'm going to succeed at my role. That's when we've been at our best. And I feel like we've got a lot of guys that are ready for that opportunity and want that opportunity to have a role and succeed at the role given to them.
You have any thoughts on expansion?
No.
Shocker.
So, you know, something great, something to kind of emulate. What does it kind of mean to you to hear those types of words from other coaches in the league and have that, you know, kind of respect and admiration at that level?
Well, you know, you appreciate it. You know, certainly you appreciate, number one, the opportunity to be somewhere and be able to have continuity and to be able to stay and try to build something. You know, I think that's really hard in our profession today. You know, number one, to have people that want to stay, and number two, be at a place that's willing to have you stay. And then to be able to do that in a place that, you know, now people take notice of that, you appreciate that. You're certainly grateful. Obviously, you know, for myself, a guy like Coach Leipold, we coached at programs and played in programs at the Division III level where continuity and sustainability were the key to success. And so, you know, obviously you're really grateful for words like that and have equal admiration for guys like him and coaches that have done it the right way, have started from the bottom and worked their way up.
How's the secondary looking beyond, you know, the obvious guys? You had some transfer portal guys leave, but added a few from the JUCO ranks and stuff and transfers. How's that looking so far?
Boy, I would say we're the deepest and the best we've ever been in our secondary. I think competition has probably created some of those things. You know, I would say when you look at the corner spot, man, you're talking about maybe the four best corners we'll carry into a football season since I've been here in terms of depth and ability. Obviously, you got Tavon Kyle, TJ Tampa, you know, guys that have done, you know, phenomenal things here. You've got Miles Purchase, who was probably another guy that you talk about in that at the end of the season really playing, you know, maybe as good as anybody, you know, for our football program. And so, you know, I look at that, and then Darian Porter, which if you said on offense, maybe Grant Schreiber was the highlight. Probably the guy that was the MVP of the spring for us was Darian Porter. I mean, Darian Porter, I think, has got a chance to be an elite defensive back at Iowa State, which is really exciting. So I think you got four guys that all can play, and what can those guys do for you? How can you use them uniquely? That's exciting. And then you flip over to the defensive backfield at the safety spot. You know, Malik Verdone. If 1A was Darian Porter, I would say 1B was Malik Verdone. You know, I mean, a guy that, again, flip on that Clemson game, played pretty good in that game. You know, the only game he got to play in was that game and was really impressive and maybe the most physically talented player in our defensive backfield. Obviously, Anthony Johnson going to the field safety spot, and a guy we really believe in. And I think what you'll see is him as home and a guy that's played at an all-conference level already now has a chance to do it at the safety position. I think has a chance to be really outstanding. And then Bo Freiler, Bo Freiler, Mason Chambers, guys that have been critically successful for us. I mean, again, the other guy you would say from the Clemson game, I don't know how many tackles, but there were a lot of them, and he made them all, and really was critical for us the last 6 games of the season last year. I mean, really by the midway point of the season was splitting time with the team, and a lot of that was because of how he practiced and how good he was as a true freshman. And then Mason Chambers, obviously a guy that's played critical snaps and had made critical plays, and really I thought another guy that had a great offseason for us and kind of pushed himself up the depth chart. So, man, when you look at our 2 deep and you look at the depth of our team, I think it's one of the great strengths that we've had, and in actually an area where we haven't had strength there. So we're excited about that.
I think Mr. Bowlesby has a question.
We got to get him over to ESPNU.